This is Professor William Wagner, and it's Truth Tuesday here at Salt Lake Global and the Great Lakes Justice Center. Our truth today is found in Genesis, where we learn from God's revealed word that He created all of us, every man and every woman, in His very image. In the image of God, He created us, the Bible says. Because of this truth, all human beings are worthy of respect, and all human beings have inherent dignity, the kind of dignity that the government ought to respect. This truth served as the basis for both the Equal Protection Clause and statutes like the Civil Rights Act of 1964. These are laws, the rule of law, if you will, in the United States, that no person is supposed to be treated differently because of the color of their skin. And Martin Luther King articulated this in a very clear way when he says that his dream was that someday we would all be looked at based on the content of our character rather than the color of our skin. Well, when the Supreme Court got involved with regard to saying what did the Civil Rights Act of 1964, what does the Equal Protection Clause mean, they could have, looked at what the people said, and the people's representatives said those words mean. What does equal protection under the law mean? What does affirmative action mean? Both Democrats and Republicans who were involved in enacting these laws made very clear that the purpose of the law was to remedy intentional discrimination, and nobody would be opposed to that. If somebody discriminates against a person based on the color of their skin, everybody recognized that that was something that was wrong and therefore ought to be prohibited. Well, unfortunately, what happened is in a number of cases, including a case called Grutter versus Bollinger and cases that came before that, the court, said, we don't like necessarily what the people's representative say here, and we are going to allow affirmative action and things like that to mean something more. We're going to allow it to mean that government can give racial preferences, that they can prefer one race over another to advance the compelling government interest. And then the Supreme Court, a majority of the court, said that there's a compelling government interest in doing that, especially in things like employment and university admissions. Well, the Supreme Court has just taken a case and they're going to review whether or not those prior decisions were correct, or should the court go back and look and see what did the people's representatives actually mean when they enacted the Civil Rights Act of 1964, when they enacted the Civil Rights Act of 1991, when they were part of the process that created the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution in the 14th Amendment. Are we going to be a nation that recognizes and makes decisions based on the person's competence and the content of their character, or are we going to give political preferences based on skin color? We are all one America. We are all Americans. We are all one race. We aren't many races. And to be sure, we have different ethnicities, but it is that diversity that makes us strong in our unity of being one American and one human race. And so it is our hope that the court will take a look and start again at saying, what does it mean to be part of the human race, to be an American? Do we give preferences based on race, or do we take race out of the picture and we punish anybody that would intentionally discriminate based on the color of somebody's skin? But on the other hand, we are not going to advance somebody's political agenda by redistributing wealth or redistributing positions where there was no actual intentional, no discrimination involved. And so it's going to be an interesting question for the court, and the Great Lakes Justice Center will be part of that, as will the Salt Lake Global academy as we try to educate and equip the church to engage the culture in a positive way, where everybody can see the heart of Jesus, as articulated, I think, most powerfully again in the words of Martin Luther King, having a dream that people will be based. People's judgments will be based on the content of their character, their competence, not the color of their skin. And so until next time, this is Professor William Wagner for Salt Lake Global and the Great Lakes Justice Center, and this has been Truth Tuesday. God bless you.